I'm not really gonna do an intro, but I'm gonna put up warnings. Just, do you really have to be that loud, please? I'm just gonna put up warnings now because I'm not in a very good mood, and I'm also mentally not in a very good place. So, yay. Why did I decide to wear this top? It's probably the worst top I could have put on. A boy in the water. For the whole video, I don't think I'll be looking at the camera very much because I have everything I want said in the video in general written on a PowerPoint document, just so it's clear. I know what I'm saying and I'm getting everything that I want said out in one go. So I'm going to be looking at it. Yes, it is kind of scripted, but it is everything that I believe and that I want to say, just with a clearer conscience. So I wrote everything down. But so yeah, I won't really be looking at the camera that much. Maybe I might be, I don't know, we'll see when I'm done filming. But there will be swearing, because I tend to swear a lot, but I might not swear that much in this one. I don't know, there might be swearing, just putting that out there. There will be examples of mental and psychological abuse, and I will be going into detail on the methods of abuse and manipulative people use. There will be mentions of depression, suicide, the mental health and DID community. This is directed to YouTube, Trisha and the people who are spreading unnecessary and unprovoked hate towards the DID community. If any of these warnings make you feel unsure on whether you'll be able to handle this video due to your own trauma, then you don't have to watch. However, if you decide to click off just because I don't want to be bothered with this, I have better things to do, then you better keep watching because this is directed towards you as well. No, this is not a hate video, this is just an informative video trying to get the attention of people to get their heads out of their ass. If you're already up to date, then I don't really have to go into too much detail, but I'm just going to do an overview of the events that happened anyway, but it's still going to be pretty long to explain. On March 4th, Untitled uploaded a video where he interviewed 3 DID systems and asked them to tell him about DID, how it worked, why it's a thing and all that. It's a very informative video and speaks about the mental illness from the people who suffer with it themselves. However, on March 12th, Trisha posted a video called Meet My Alter's Dissociative Identity Disorder, where she claims to have this severe mental disorder. In the video, she gives out false information, lies about having a mental illness, and claims that a self-diagnosis is more or less a fact, calls someone with the mental illness that she's claiming to have crazy, which can have a horrible effect on that person or anyone with a mental illness in general. On the same day, Mikey from Glam and Gore and Anthony Padilla posted on their Instagram stories making it clear that they're appalled by what Trisha did. Then the next day, March 13th, Dissociative, a YouTuber who has DID and was the one Trisha called crazy, made a video reacting to Trisha's video. Dissociative made this video for 2 reasons. One, they themselves are mentioned and were told by their friends and fans to react to it. And 2, Dissociative's channel is based around giving valid and 100% fact-checked and confirmed information on dissociative identity disorder. They analysed the video and corrected Trisha when she was wrong, but also validated Trisha's own feelings and experience with having DID. They never once said or implied that they think Trisha was lying or faking, because, in their own words, it's not our place to say whether they're faking or not, and it's none of our business. But I also think that they themselves, having gone through multiple people thinking they're faking, made them not want to accuse someone else of doing the same thing, which is fair enough. But through the whole video, Dissociative was very polite and factual and not in any way hateful or aggressive. And if you don't believe me, I will link it. I don't know which direction it's at, but I think it's this one. I will put it up in the cards, their video reacting to Trisha's and giving all the facts. If you don't believe me, they were completely polite and not aggressive in any kind of way. On the same day, Trisha uploaded a video titled Dear Anthony Padilla. In the video, she acted very aggressively towards the camera, swore excessively because she had nothing better to say. I'm just going to assume you can hear the music on the TV. Yes, I have Pirates of the Caribbean on in the background. The whole video, she hated on Anthony and accused him of not really advocating for mental health because he didn't believe her lies. She once again called Dissociative crazy, and she called 3 people that were in Anthony's video who actually have DID dumb fucks for thinking the movie Split is offensive and saying it's just a movie. Yeah, a movie misrepresenting severe mental illness in order to turn it into a horror trope and make it more difficult for people who have that disorder to actually get diagnosed and accepted into society. On March 18th, Trisha uploaded another video titled My Alters Switch Caught on Camera Live Footage Dissociative Identity Disorder. In the video, she once again gives out misleading information, humiliates and mocks the DID community, specifically copying the way dissociative alters acted and spoke, even going as far as to impersonate their little, a child alter. In the thumbnail, she crosses her eyes as a way to mimic the words of my alters have switched, even though crossing her eyes isn't how a switch works. I don't just go, oh my god, and now I'm a different person. What's some music to go with this video? On March 22nd, Dissociative posted a video updating on their situation. Their primary protector of the system, Kyle, was the one speaking as the voice of everyone else because they were going through a rough time due to Trisha's ignorance and lies, people hating on them for no reason and accusing them of faking the disorder, people trying to hack their social media accounts, getting death threats online, having another alter split off due to the flashbacks and trauma Trisha's videos caused their system, possibly being homeless and being at risk for the current epidemic. They also made it clear that they won't be talking about the drama anymore because it won't do any good, which is true. On the same fucking day, Dissociative posted that video saying that they're not bringing up the drama anymore. Trisha uploaded 2 videos, one called Dissociative Stop Bullying Us and I'm actually really not okay. In these videos, she spreads more lies and misinformation on the disorder and the situation, accuses Dissociative of bullying her when they're doing literally the opposite, calling them aggressive, guilt-tripping them, bringing in personal issues in order to gain sympathy from her delusional fans and loads of other bullshit. Also, not to mention the fact that she said putting people's name into the title and thumbnail is passive-aggressive, and said that Dissociative was being passive-aggressive for putting her name in the title when she put Dissociative's name in the title and had a video called Dear Anthony Padilla and just blatantly hated on him the whole time. And even with all of this going on, YouTube has done absolutely nothing about it. Why? Because Trisha's views gain them money and that's all they care about. So yes, this video is being made to call out YouTube on their own hypocrisy and lack of morals. Let's start with the basics. On YouTube, you can make your own videos on your channel. You can post relatively whatever you want as long as you don't harm anyone. And there are community guidelines that everyone on the platform need to stick to in order for their channel not to be striked down. But there's a catch. It seems that as long as the channel and creator in question, whether they are harming someone or not, is getting them views and making them money, the rules seem to not apply to them. Let's go through the community guidelines that apparently only the not-so-rich people have to abide by. I'm only going to be talking about specific guidelines that relate or should relate to this topic. So I'm not going through every single guideline. The first category is hateful content. Hate speech is not allowed on YouTube. We remove content promoting violence or hatred against individuals or groups based on any of the following attributes. Again, there are multiple other examples, but I've brought it down to just the main ones that I think are related to this. Disability, gender identity and expression, sex or gender, sexual orientation, and victims of a major event and their kin. Don't post content on YouTube if the purpose of that content is to do one or more of the following: encourage violence against individuals or groups based on any of the attributes noted above. We don't allow threats on YouTube, and we treat implied calls for violence as real threats. Incite hatred against individuals or groups based on any of the attributes noted above. Other types of content that violate this policy. Here are some examples of hate speech not allowed on YouTube. Deny that a well-documented violent event took place. Everyone in blank are all criminals and thugs. Blank is just a form of mental illness that needs to be cured. All of the so-called victims of this violent event are actors. No one was hurt. This is just a false flag. All of the so-called victims of this are actors. No one was hurt. If your content violates this policy, we'll remove the content and send you an email to let you know. If this is the first time that you've posted content that violates our community guidelines, you'll get a warning with no penalty to your channel. If it's not, we'll issue a strike against your channel. Your channel will be terminated if you receive 3 strikes. Trisha made 5 videos faking a severe mental disorder while also calling someone else with that mental disorder crazy, dumb fucks, and were sending hate specifically to one person that was not believing her lies. She also either herself or got someone else to create another YouTube channel called Tatiana or Tiana, whatever the hell it's called, to make videos proving that she had DID and proving Dissociative was the one faking it, which is just more lies and bullshit and is hating on someone specifically to harm them. That channel is still up. Trisha's videos on DID are still up, even with all the hate and incorrect information in it. She's telling someone with a disorder that was caused because of severe and repeated abuse that they were forced to experience as a child, and you're telling them that it didn't really happen. The next category is harassment and cyberbullying. Content that threatens individuals is not allowed on YouTube. We also do not allow content that targets an individual with prolonged or malicious insults based on intrinsic attributes, including their protected group status or physical traits. Don't post content on YouTube if it fits any of the descriptions noted below. Content that features prolonged name-calling or malicious insults, such as racial slurs, based on an individual's intrinsic attributes. These attributes include their protected group status, physical attributes, or their status as a survivor of sexual assault, domestic abuse, child abuse, etc. Content uploaded with the intent to shame, deceive, or insult a minor. A minor is defined as a person under the legal age of majority. This usually means anyone younger than 18 years old, but the age of a minor might vary by country. Exceptions. We may allow content that includes harassment if the primary purpose is educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic in nature. This is not a free pass to harass someone. Some examples include debates related to high-profile officials or leaders, content featuring debates or discussions of topical issues concerning people who have positions of power, like high-profile government officials or CEOs of major multinational corporations. Scripted performances, insults made in the context of an artistic medium such as a scripted satire, stand-up comedy, or music, which is a diss track. Note, this is not a free pass to harass someone or claim I was joking. Harassment, education, or awareness. Content that features actual or simulated harassment for documentary purposes or with willing participants, actors, to combat cyberbullying or raise awareness. Note, we take a harder line on content that maliciously insults someone based on their protected group status, regardless of whether or not they are a high-profile person. Bullshit. In some rare cases, we may remove content or issue other penalties when a creator repeatedly encourages abusive audience behavior, repeatedly targets, insults, and abuses an identifiable individual based on their intrinsic attributes across multiple uploads, exposes an individual to risks of physical harm based on the local social or political context, creates content that harms the YouTube ecosystem by persistently inciting hostility between creators for personal financial gain. Okay, so Trisha's made a video claiming to be transgender, which was completely fake. That gave the trans community a bad rep because of her ignorance and the fact that she will do anything for attention. Now she's faking a mental disorder that affects the victims every single second of their life. They were abused as a child and still have traumatic experiences as an adult, and you're telling them they're faking. YouTube, your guidelines says that you take this sort of stuff seriously, even if it's a high profile person. I don't see you taking any action against a high profile person faking a severe mental disorder and giving out so much misinformation and enabling people to hate on the marginalized group of people who already have it. The next category is spam and misleading content. Don't post content on YouTube if it fits any of the descriptions noted below. Misleading metadata or thumbnails, using the title, thumbnails, description or tags to trick users into believing that the content is something that it is not. Manipulated media, content that has been technically manipulated or doctored in a way that misleads users beyond clips taken out of context and may pose a serious risk of egregious harm. These are all I could find policy-wise that I think relate to the situation, and it's fucking pathetic, to say the least. Once again, repeating myself, Trisha has been faking a mental disorder and misleading the people who watch her content about what DID really is and how it works. It's causing DID systems to collapse, split off again, pull away and decide not to ask for help or tell anyone they even have DID. And she's using it for profit. She's using the drama for attention and money, and it's disgusting that you're still letting her do this with no consequences. I've reported all of the DID videos that she's put up, and I'm sure many others have as well, and nothing's been done about it. Before I get into anything else, I'm going to explain what DID is. DID is an abbreviation for Dissociative Identity Disorder. It's a mental disorder that has developed due to severe and repeated trauma caused to the person as a child, and that ends up sectioning off their brain and creating more than one person inside that body. This is so that the child is able to cope and survive through that trauma. It can only develop as a child and cannot be self-diagnosed, no matter how much you try to push that view. Every alter in the system has their own roles, both big and small, but they're all important. However, even if the trauma started as a child and the other alters are holding most of the traumatic memories, more alters can be created later on in life for multiple reasons. 1. A new traumatic event happens and the host is unable to handle it. 2. An already created alter splits off in order to go dormant, which ends up creating 2 alters from splitting, which has happened in TeamPinata. I will put up that video if you want to see how they explain it. 3. Flashbacks and triggers that are too painful and a different alter has to take them on to survive and cope. Now take all of this into consideration and think about why what Trisha's doing is so harmful. Many systems have split off already, including Dissociative. They've also had a recent close call with taking their own life. Now I don't know about you, YouTube, and Twitter and Instagram, but it sounds to me that you're not really worried about looking after people's health if it doesn't benefit you. Trisha, you keep saying we have traits of things. I have traits of DID, bipolar, BPD. Yeah, you can have traits of something and not actually have that thing. Because guess what? You also have traits of a manipulator, gaslighting, and psychopathy. We'll start with psychopathy. A personality disorder where the person typically has no regard for right and wrong. They may often violate the law and the rights of others. Swear to God, the amount of people who've gone up that road, like revving, I want to slap them. They're so annoying. Often psychopaths have little empathy, have antisocial behaviour and lack of inhibitions. Psychopathy researchers found that psychopaths often have these common traits. I've put a star beside the ones that I think personally that Trisha has. Lack of empathy, guilt, conscience or remorse. Shallow experiences of feelings or emotions, impulsivity and a weak ability to defer gratification and control behaviour, superficial charms and glibness, irresponsibility and failure to accept responsibility for their actions, a grandiose sense of their own worth. Now out of those 6 points that I've given out there, I think Trisha has at least 4 of them. The warning signs of a psychopath. Psychopaths are typically highly impulsive and highly emotional. They are at risk of substance abuse and incarceration. They are very difficult to have relationships with because they lack social kindness and empathy. Researchers believe that psychopathy has roots in early childhood. Children who show an early lack of fear, indifference towards peers, and who appear callous in the face of emotion are at greater risk. Manipulation. Psychological manipulation is a type of social influence that aims to change the behavior or perception of others through indirect, deceptive, or underhanded tactics. I'm sorry, I love you, Jack and all, but you're a bit loud. By advancing the interests of the manipulator, often at another's expense, such methods could be considered exploitive and devious. Manipulative people are the kinds of people who use mental and emotional abuse to one-up you, usually to serve their desires for power or control. Although it can be hard to tell if someone is manipulative when you first meet them, there are several traits that manipulative people often show, which can help tip you off early to this kind of behavior. It's important to look out for manipulation in a relationship, friendship, or with a family member, because if you fall prey to a manipulator, it can become difficult to cut yourself loose once you've gotten super involved in their life. Although manipulators are ultimately selfish, they use several schemes and methods to cover this up, which is why it is so hard to identify a manipulative person before it's too late. This list will give you a good understanding of what to look out for in a manipulative person. If you see one or more of these traits in your so-called friends, you better run for the hills. Here are the traits, and I bet every single person that sees this video, there's more than 5 on this list that Trisha has. For me, I think she has all of them, to be honest. They play the victim. Often they exaggerate or even make up personal issues so that others feel sorry for them and sympathize with them. They tell distorted or half-truths so that they always come out as right. Examples of this behavior include excuse making, withholding key information, understatements, exaggeration, or being two-faced. Manipulative people know how to bend the truth to their advantage. They will often omit or hide information that will expose them as being a liar. Manipulators treat all interactions as if they may eventually go to trial, and everything they say could be held against them. As a result, they often skirt around the issue or make vague statements so that when confronted, they can claim they never said that, or that it is not exactly what they said. Does this remind you of anyone? Maybe a certain Amber Heard? They are passive-aggressive. A manipulative person may use this sort of behavior to get out of something or to get their way. They may even do this to make you mad without outright doing something insulting towards you. They will pressure you. They will often put pressure on another person in hopes of getting you to make a decision before you are really ready to. The manipulator believes that by applying tension and control to you, you will easily crack and give in to their wishes. They will guilt trip you into doing something that you don't want to do, or vice versa. The underlying reason for this is their ultimately selfish personality. Guilt trips include unreasonable blaming from the manipulator, along with targeting your soft spot and holding you responsible for their happiness, success, or failures. The manipulator works to target your vulnerabilities and emotional weaknesses so that they can coerce you into doing just what they want you to do. They expect everyone else to help them deal with their problems, but do nothing in return. They give the silent treatment. Manipulative people are bullies. One of the ways they bully others is by alienation. Behaviors like ignoring one person in a group, not allowing them to voice their opinions, or leaving them out completely are immature techniques used by manipulative people to assert their dominance. By exhibiting these behaviors, the manipulative person believes they are coming off as self-confident and powerful. In reality, however, they have low self-esteem and are extremely self-conscious. The only way they know how to make themselves feel better is by hurting others, which I get, but it's not a good thing. They don't work to resolve problems. They will never take the blame for anything. This also means that they will never contribute to resolving a problem in fear that one day they will be held responsible for their actions. The manipulator's goal is to skate through life without having to step up and take responsibility for anything, When confronted with something, they will either flat out lie and say they never did anything wrong, or will make all sorts of justifications for their behaviour that get them off the hook. They prefer to play on their home ground. The personality of a manipulative person is very controlling. A manipulative person will usually insist on meeting or interacting with you in a place where they feel more powerful and in control of the situation. This could be their office, car, home, or any other place where the manipulator feels familiarity and ownership. The manipulator ultimately does this for two reasons. One, they want to retain the upper hand by being in their comfort zone. And two, they want to weaken you by taking you out of yours. This does not have to be just physically either. A manipulator will try to take you out of your comfort zone emotionally and financially as well. They rationalize their behavior. If ever approached about their manipulative words and deeds, a manipulator will make it seem as if it is not a big deal, or will shift the blame onto someone else, somehow making you feel bad for them. Usually though, it is the manipulator who makes a big deal out of things, until you say something to them about it, and then they fire every cannon they have back at you to distract you from the main topic at hand. Manipulators also have no empathy for the people who have helped them, and will even go as far as to attack those people, should they feel defensive or need to cover up one of their actions or deeds. The manipulative person usually knows that they have a problem and make it out to seem like it is the world who is against them, rather than the other way around. To the manipulative person, nothing they do is ever wrong. Instead, it is always someone else's fault, and there is always an excuse to rationalize why the manipulative person said or did what they did. They shake your confidence. Manipulators often go overboard, messing around with other people by using low blow jabs and insults. True friends should feel comfortable poking fun at each other harmlessly, but manipulative people always take it a step too far. They do this especially in groups or social situations to undermine others and establish their dominance. They either lack insight into how they engage others and create certain scenarios, or they truly believe that their way of handling a situation is the only way because it means that their needs are being met and that's all that matters. Ultimately, all situations and relationships are about them, what others think, feel, and what really doesn't matter. They do not understand the concept of boundaries. They are relentless in the pursuit of what they want and have little regard for who gets hurt along the way. Crowding into your space, physically, emotionally, psychologically, or spiritually, is of no concern to them. They lack understanding about what personal space and identity mean, or just don't care. They can be likened to a parasite. In the natural world, this is often an acceptable relationship. In human behavior, however, feeding off of someone at their expense is depleting, exhausting, weakening, and demeaning. Gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation in which a person or a group covertly sows seeds of doubt in a targeted individual, making them question their own memory, perception, or judgment, often evoking in them cognitive dissonance and other changes such as low self-esteem. Using denial, misdirection, contradiction, and misinformation, gaslighting involves attempts to destabilize the victim and delegitimize the victim's beliefs. Instances can range from the denial by an abuser that previous abusive incidents occurred to the staging of bizarre events by the abuser with the intention of disorienting the victim. That was a lot to say, and that grammar was not good. I said that was a lot to say. Another way of phrasing that is a tactic in which a person or an entity, in order to gain more power, makes a victim question their reality. It works much better than you think. Anyone is susceptible to gaslighting, and it is a common technique of abusers, dictators, narcissists, and cult leaders. It is done slowly so the victim doesn't realize how much they've been brainwashed. Here's the treats. They tell blatant lies. You know it's an outright lie, yet they are telling you this lie with a straight face. Why are they so blatant? Because they're setting up a precedent. Once they tell you a huge lie, you're not sure if anything they say is true. Keeping you unsteady and off kilter is the goal. They deny they ever said something, even though you have proof. You know they said they would do something, you know you heard it, but they deny it. It makes you start questioning your reality. Maybe they never said that thing. And the more they do this, the more you question your reality and start accepting theirs. They use what is near and dear to you as ammunition. They know how important your kids are to you, and they know how important your identity is to you. So those may be one of the first things they attack. If you have kids, they tell you that you should not have had those kids. They will tell you you'd be a worthy person if only you didn't have a long list of negative traits. They attack the foundation of your being. They wear you down over time. This is one of the insidious things about gaslighting. It is done gradually over time. A lie here, a lie there, a snide comment every so often, and then it starts ramping up. Even the brightest, most self-aware people can be sucked into gaslighting. It is that effective. It's the frog in the frying pan analogy. The heat is turned up slowly, so the frog never realizes what's happening. Their actions do not match their words. When dealing with a person or entity that gaslights, look at what they are doing rather than what they are saying. What they are saying means nothing, it is just talk. What they are doing is the issue. They throw in positive reinforcement to confuse you. This person or entity that is cutting you down, telling you that you don't have value, is now praising you for something you did. This adds an additional sense of uneasiness. You think, well, maybe they aren't so bad. Yes, they are. This is a calculated attempt to keep you off kilter, and again to question your reality. Also, look at what you are being praised for. It is probably something that served the gaslighter. They know confusion weakens people. Gaslighters know that people like having a sense of stability and normalcy. Their goal is to uproot this and make you constantly question everything. That's my daily life anyway. I don't need someone to gaslight me and do that. I do that to myself. And humans' natural tendency is to look to the person or entity that will help you feel more stable. And that happens to be the gaslighter. They try to align people against you. Gaslighters are masters at manipulating and finding the people they know will stand by them no matter what. And they use these people against you. They will make comments such as, "This person knows that you're not right," or "This person knows you're useless too." Keep in mind, it does not mean that these people actually said those things. A gaslighter is a constant liar, or a pathological liar. When the gaslighter uses this tactic, it makes you feel like you don't know who to trust or to turn to, and that leads you right back to the gaslighter, and that's exactly what they want. Isolation gives them more control. They tell you or others that you are crazy. This is one of the most effective tools of the gaslighter because it's dismissive. The gaslighter knows if they question your sanity, people will not believe you when you tell them the gaslighter is abusive or out of control. It's a master technique. They tell you everyone else is a liar. By telling you that everyone else, your family or the media, is a liar, it again makes you question your reality. You've never known someone with the audacity to do this. So they must be telling the truth, right? No. It's a manipulation technique. It makes people turn to the gaslighter for the correct information, which isn't correct at all. There's multiple things there that I can 100% say Trisha has those traits, and I do believe that. She's extremely narcissistic and manipulative. She knows she is, but doesn't want to take the responsibility of what she has caused and is still causing right now. I don't want to even think that a platform that claims to care about people's mental health and safety are enabling someone to cause people mental harm, flashbacks, trauma, emotional pain, and in the most severe case possible, attempting to take their own life. No, she didn't do it intentionally to cause all of those effects, but she's not taking responsibility for it either, and she's not sincerely apologizing or acting on that apology, proving that she doesn't mean it. YouTube needs to take responsibility as well, not just Trisha. And Trisha's delusional fans need to take responsibility too. You should never tell someone to take their life or try to hack their accounts to prevent them from speaking their mind and truth just because the person you follow doesn't agree with them. To all DID systems, dissociative, fragmented psyche, TeamPinata, the entropy system, and anyone else who is affected by what's been happening. From the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry that this is causing so much pain and distress, and I do hope it passes soon along with the pandemic, and that you'll be able to go back to what is a peaceful and regular life to you. If you need to take a break, that's perfectly fine and understandable. There's nothing wrong with that, and take all the time that you need. We will be here for you throughout the whole thing, and did you have to interrupt me when I was being so serious? We'll be here for you the whole way through, and we'll be waiting for when you're ready to come back. To Trisha, please seek mental health help. Not mental health. Mental help from professionals. It's not normal or okay to treat people the way you do, and especially you need to take responsibility for what you've caused. People are already scared as it is to ask for help, where not just mental health is considered, but also victims of abuse. Amber Heard destroyed Johnny Depp's career and was forced to lose one of his most beloved characters that he created. And for what? Because she wanted publicity. She wanted money that he wouldn't give her. And she's an abusive narcissist who gaslighted the poor man every time she did something wrong and put the blame on him instead. Take responsibility. Apologize. Take down your videos to do with DID and stop lying about mental illnesses you don't have. Go to a professional and get diagnosed, but don't use the fact that you've got a diagnosis for something as an excuse to say, I've been officially diagnosed with whatever I wanted to diagnose myself with. It's not okay to be told to take your life, but it's equally not okay to enable others to tell someone else the same thing and pretend like you had no part in it. And YouTube, you need to implement more guidelines in order to protect people who suffer with mental illness, because there's absolutely nothing on the platform that is protecting them, and that's not okay. I don't know how to make guidelines, but there needs to be ones in place to like prevent people from faking and lying about illnesses. Maybe they could fill out a form, you send them, and they let you know their official diagnosis, not a self-diagnosis or claim as a troll. Prevent sentences relating to like kill yourself or you should die and things like that. I'm no good at this. I'm just trying to prove a point, but the main thing I'm trying to say here is Trisha isn't the only one at fault. It's the ignorant people who follow her every whim, the disgusting assholes who tag along for fun and think it's okay to tell someone to take their life. And it's YouTube's fault for allowing this to keep going and for allowing videos filled with hatred and lies to stay up on their platform, because they earn money from it, even if it ends in someone's life or death situation. YouTube, you need to fix this. You need to take down the videos that Trisha has mentioned in this video for impersonation, faking an illness, hating on an individual and a group of people, causing victims of PTSD to experience flashbacks and painful memories, causing victims of the hate started from this to no longer seek help in fear of being told the trauma they experienced didn't actually happen, putting people's lives at risk, being ignorant and lying in order to gain profit from it. And if you don't, there's going to be a lot of things that won't go your way anymore, because you will have blood on your hands whether you intended for it or not. This isn't okay and it's gone too fucking far. Fix this. I know this video was kind of all over the place, to say the least, but I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't know what else to do, and I just want it all to stop. I want the hate all to stop, for the misinformation to stop, for the hacking into accounts, causing people with PTSD to re-experience horrible memories that they had to go through, and for it to be a safe haven for people again and not make them feel scared to ask for help. That's not okay. But that's this video. Hopefully some people are able to see it and hopefully it made sense. I did make 7 separate videos that I had to split up because of my editing software being an asshole, but I will put them in the cards as well. It's a playlist of me analysing all of the Trisha's videos related to this topic and going through them. If you want to see them, they will be in the cards and you can go through them in your own time. And I will have the DID systems that I mentioned in this video in the description. I will have links to their channels in the description. Go subscribe to them and show them support and love, because they deserve it, especially right now. They're all going through a tough time, so give them some love. I will also link their other socials along with their YouTube channels. Give this video a like if you liked it, give it a dislike if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more videos, follow me on my social medias if you want to. I don't really do anything, to be honest. Also, give Johnny Depp back the role of Jack Sparrow, because I will not be watching any Captain or Pirates of the Caribbean movies if he's not in it. Full stop. Not a chance. He made that character. That's his character, no one else's. And he's been proven that he's not the one guilty of abuse, so he should be getting his characters back. But that's a debate for a different video. Hope you have a good day. Take care of yourself and take care of the pack while I'm away. Bye!